All stories published by Epic Yarn are fictional works intended for mature audiences. These narratives are submitted by a diverse community of contributors and subscribers created solely for entertainment and storytelling purposes. They do not represent real events or individuals, and no claims of factual accuracy are made. Additionally, all accompanying images are generated using AI technology to visually enhance the fictional experience.
Chapter 1. Wrong place, wrong time. Alright, so picture this. Me, minding my own damn business, walking home with a bag of chips and a Coke, not bothering a soul. I wasn't drunk, wasn't stoned, wasn't even flirting with anyone's boyfriend for once. Just chilling. Next thing I know, some fight breaks out down the street, and the cops roll in like it's a Fast and Furious sequel. And guess who gets scooped up along with the idiots throwing punches? Yep, yours truly. I kept telling them, hey, wrong blonde guy. I didn't throw shit. But cops don't listen when they're busy flexing their authority. And then I met him. Officer Max Brown. 6'4" of pure, don't mess with me. With shoulders so wide he made the doorway look like it shrank. Blue eyes sharp enough to cut glass. Jawline like it was carved with a protractor. Oh, and the beard. That short, neatly kept, gruff-looking thing that made him look like he wrestled bears on the weekends. The man looked at me like I was gum on his shoe. I swear my balls shriveled just a little when his eyes landed on me. He goes, sit down. Real deep voice. Cop voice. The kind of voice that makes you automatically check if your zipper's up. So there I am, in this shitty plastic chair, trying not to look guilty of existing, I guess. I tell him flat out. I was just passing by. Check the cameras. I'm not in your little street fight soap opera. He doesn't blink. Just stares at me, flipping his pen between his fingers like he's deciding whether to write me up or throw me out the window. Then finally, he checks. Guess what? Cameras show exactly what I said. Me walking by, completely innocent. Surprise, surprise. Max comes back, clears his throat, and says, you're free to go. Sorry for the inconvenience. Now, most people would have said thanks and left. Not me. Hell no. You don't drag me into a station, look at me like I'm a criminal, then toss a half-ass sorry at me like a breadcrumb. So I lean in, real close, and whisper, your sorry is not accepted. He raises an eyebrow, probably the first emotion the man's shown all night. And before he can kick me out, I say, I want a date. Silence. Actual silence. The room was so quiet I swear I could hear his muscles flexing. He didn't answer. He just stared at me like he couldn't believe what I'd just said. Me? I smiled. Because I knew I had him. Maybe not hooked yet, but at least confused enough to think about it. And that, my friend, is how I accidentally turned getting arrested into scoring a shot with the hottest cop I've ever seen. Chapter 2. The Stubborn Cop. So after I dropped the I want a date bomb, you'd think Officer Max would laugh, or at least tell me to screw off. Nope. He just stared at me like he was trying to figure out if I was joking or insane. Honestly, maybe both. I swear, the man blinked once in slow motion, then looked down at his papers like I didn't just flip his whole night upside down. That's how serious he was. The type that probably irons his socks and files reports about filing reports. I leaned back in the chair and crossed my arms. What? You're not even gonna answer me. You drag me in here, waste my time, and now you're ghosting me in person? Rude, man. Real rude. He didn't even flinch. Just goes, you're free to go. Now, I don't know about you, but being dismissed by a 6'4" wall of muscles and authority didn't exactly sit right with me. So I stood up real slow, leaned across the desk, and grinned at him. You know, you're not as scary as you think. You're more hot than scary. Like if Captain America and a lumberjack had a baby. That got him. His jaw tightened. Just a tiny twitch, but I saw it. Score 1 for me. I tapped the desk with my finger and said, tell you what, I'll give you until Friday. Call me. Otherwise, I'm filing a complaint for emotional distress. He actually looked up at that. Those blue eyes of his pinned me like I was some rookie he caught lying. But underneath the cop glare, I swear I saw the tiniest flicker of curiosity. Like he was asking himself why this cocky kid wouldn't just take the win and leave. So I left him with my number, scribbled it on the back of a crumpled receipt, and slid it across his perfectly neat desk like it was a winning lottery ticket. Then I strutted out of that station like I'd just robbed the place. And you know what? I wasn't even sure if he'd call. But deep down, I could feel it. Guys like Max, The ones who live by rules, they secretly crave someone to break them. And me? I was already planning what I'd wear to our apology date. Chapter 3. First date. Sort of. So, Friday rolls around, and guess who calls? That's right. Officer Tall, dark, and broody. He didn't say much on the phone. Just, meet me at Miller's Diner. 7. Click. No hello, no goodbye, no small talk. Just coordinates like I was part of some covert op. Naturally, I show up 10 minutes late. Not because I was busy, but because I like to keep men like him just a little off balance. When I walked in, there he was. Max Brown, out of uniform. And Jesus Christ, he was somehow scarier in plain clothes. Dark jeans, a fitted black shirt that made his chest look like it deserved its own zip code, and that same serious face like he was about to interrogate the waitress over the pie specials. I slid into the booth across from him, all smiles. Wow, you clean up nice. Almost didn't recognize you without the badge and the stick up your ass. He exhaled through his nose. Not a laugh, not a smile, just air. The man was a fortress. The waitress comes over, asks for drinks. He orders black coffee. At 7 in the evening, I said, let me guess, you also iron your pillowcases and sleep at parade rest. That earned me a glare that could have melted butter. I ordered a chocolate milkshake just to piss him off. Extra whipped cream, cherry on top. So there we are, me slurping sugar like a kid on summer break, him sipping coffee like it's the blood of his enemies. I kept poking because that's what I do. So, Max, what do you do for fun? And don't say paperwork, 'cause that doesn't count. He looked at me, dead serious, and goes, I work out. I read. I nearly snorted milkshake out of my nose. You're kidding. That's it. You don't, like, watch trash TV? Dance when no one's looking? Sing in the shower? Nothing. Just a stone wall. I started to wonder if the guy was actually human or some kind of android they built to enforce parking violations. But then, I caught it. The tiniest twitch at the corner of his mouth. Like he was fighting a smile. And you know me. Once I see a crack, I'm driving a truck through it. I leaned forward, smirked, and said, don't worry, big guy. I'll get you to laugh. Might take me all night, but I'm committed. For the first time since I'd met him, he looked me in the eye without that cop glare. Just looked. And I swear, there was something there. Not much, but enough. A flicker of interest. A curiosity he probably didn't want. The date, sorry, not date, ended with him paying the bill like a gentleman/hostage. Outside, he said, this doesn't happen again. I smiled, winked, and replied, oh, it definitely will. Because if I know one thing about men like Max, it's this. The more they say no, the deeper they're already in. Chapter 4. Cracks in the armor. You'd think after our not date at the diner, Max would ghost me forever. That's what a normal, sensible man with self-respect would have done. But Max? He called me again. Not right away, of course. He waited 2 days, probably pacing his apartment, arguing with himself about whether I was worth the headache. Spoiler, I was. This time he suggested coffee. I said, fine, but only if you're not gonna interrogate me again. He didn't laugh. Figures. We meet up at this hole-in-the-wall cafe downtown. He's already there, sitting stiff as a board at a tiny table, sipping black coffee like it's holy water. I slide in across from him with a grin and go, so, Officer Max, what's the plan? Gonna frisk me for contraband croissants. He just shakes his head, mutters something about me being impossible. But I swear his eyes had that look. You know the one. Like he was tired of pretending he didn't enjoy my bullshit. I leaned back, stretched, made a show of looking him over. You know, you should really loosen up. You're wound tighter than my jeans after Taco Tuesday. That finally got him. The tiniest laugh. Barely a sound. More like air escaping a balloon, but it was there. And for Max, that was basically a full-blown stand-up routine. See, I said, pointing at him like I'd just won a prize. You can laugh. I knew it. You've just been hiding it like it's classified information. He gave me this look, half annoyed, half amused. You don't know when to stop, do you? Nope. And that's why you like me. He didn't confirm or deny, but he didn't walk out either. That's a win in my book. Somewhere in the middle of me rambling about how boring his apartment must be, and yes, I guessed beige walls, leather couch, everything lined up like a showroom, he let something slip. Said he doesn't really invite people over. Ever. And there it was. The crack. For a guy like Max, that wasn't just small talk. That was personal. He was telling me, without telling me, that he lived alone. That maybe he was lonely. That maybe all this control and authority was just a suit of armor he wore 24/7. I didn't call him out, though. I just grinned and said, "Good to know. Less competition when I move in." He groaned, but I swear, I saw that twitch of a smile again. So yeah, maybe he was still playing the tough cop card, but underneath, the man was starting to show. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's digging until I find the soft spot. And buddy, I was getting close. Chapter 5, The First Night. Okay, so here's how it happened. And don't act shocked, because you knew it was coming. A guy like Max, all bottled up, all control and rules, he was bound to snap eventually. I just happened to be the lucky bastard standing there when it happened. It was late. We'd done the whole coffee again routine, except this time I managed to drag him into a bar. Nothing wild, just one of those low-key places with dim lights, cheap beer, and a jukebox that hasn't worked right since the 90s. He kept saying, "I don't drink much." And I kept saying, "Yeah, well, you don't laugh much either, but here we are." Couple beers in, I could see him relax. Not much, but enough. Shoulders loosened. Voice dropped a notch from interrogation to actual human. Then I leaned across the table, real casual, and said, "Max, do you ever stop being a cop?" That did it. He just looked at me, long and hard, like he wasn't sure if I was teasing or prying. And maybe I was both. Finally, he muttered, "Sometimes." "Good," I said. "Because tonight you're not Officer Brown. You're just Max. And I want Max." Yeah, I know, smooth as hell. But it worked. Fast forward 20 minutes, and we're back at his place. And let me tell you, my Beigewall prediction? Spot on. The place looked like a furniture catalog for lonely men with gym memberships. But I wasn't there for the decor. He tried to play it cool at first, standing there all stiff, saying something about how this wasn't a good idea. I shut him up the best way I know how. With my mouth. And holy shit, when he kissed back, it was like a dam breaking. Weeks of control, gone in a second. One hand gripping the back of my neck, the other dragging me closer, like he couldn't decide if he wanted to kiss me or arrest me. Clothes? Gone fast. Didn't even matter where they landed. His shirt came off. And yeah, I'll admit it, I stopped for a second just to stare. Broad chest, hair thick across it, trailing down his stomach like an arrow pointing south. The kind of body that makes you rethink every dumb decision you've ever made, just so you can feel better about making this one. And when we finally hit the bed, yeah, let's just say Max might be quiet in public, but in private, the man doesn't hold back. He was rough, controlled, like he was still trying to stay in charge, but underneath it, I could feel it. Need. Raw, hungry need. I'll spare you the play-by-play, but let's just say this. The tough cop who thought he couldn't be broken? Yeah, he broke. Right there with me. After, he laid there, breathing heavy, one arm across his eyes like he couldn't believe what just happened. Me? I lit an imaginary cigarette and said, "Told you I'd make you laugh. Guess I just had to go about it the hard way." He groaned. I grinned. And that, my friend, was the night Max Brown stopped being just Officer Serious and started being mine. Chapter 6, Complications. Morning after. And no, it wasn't awkward, at least not for me. For Max? Whole different story. I woke up sprawled across his bed, naked as hell, with the sunlight coming in through blinds so straight you'd think he measured them with a level. The man was already up, standing by the window in nothing but sweatpants, arms crossed, staring out like he was contemplating every decision he'd ever made. I stretched, yawned, and said, "Relax, big guy. You didn't kill anybody. You just had sex with me." Which, honestly, is more of a blessing than a crime. He didn't laugh. Typical. He just muttered, "This shouldn't have happened." And there it was. The cop brain trying to take control again. Rules, order, lines not to be crossed. Meanwhile, I'm lying there, still sore in the best way, thinking, yeah, well, too late now, buddy. I rolled out of bed, walked over, and wrapped my arms around him from behind. He stiffened up, of course, because God forbid the man just enjoy human contact. I rested my chin on his shoulder and said, "You can keep saying it was a mistake. Doesn't change the fact that you wanted it as bad as I did." He didn't argue, which, in Max language, basically meant I was right. The rest of the morning was this push-pull dance. Him making coffee like it was a coping mechanism, me wandering around his neat little apartment in nothing but his shirt, teasing him about the lack of personal touches. Seriously, Max, Your place looks like an Airbnb for sad cops. You need a plant or something. He finally sat down, rubbed his temples, and sighed. You're 20, JD. You've got your whole life ahead of you. It's complicated. I plopped down across from him, stole his mug, and grinned. Nah, you're complicated. I'm easy. Then I winked. Well, not that easy. You had to buy me a milkshake first. That got him. The tiniest smile, quick and gone, but I saw it. And I knew right then. He could try to push me away all he wanted, but the crack was already there. He wasn't getting rid of me. Here's the thing, though. Underneath all my jokes, I felt it too. That pull. That stupid, dangerous feeling that maybe this wasn't just about sex or bragging rights. Maybe I actually liked the guy, and that scared me more than any cop station ever could. Chapter 7. The Unstoppable Pull. So Max tried. I'll give him that. He really did try to keep things professional. As if that ship hadn't already sailed the second he had me bent over his bed moaning his name. For a few days, he went cold. Fewer texts, short replies, nothing that gave me much to chew on. But here's the thing about men like Max. The more they pull back, the more you know they're thinking about it nonstop. And sure enough, one night around midnight, I get a call. His voice was low, tight. Come over. No explanation, no hello, just those two words. You bet your ass I went. When I got there, he didn't waste time. He opened the door, grabbed me by the shirt, and dragged me inside. No coffee, no small talk. No, this is a bad idea. Just raw need. Damn, officer, I said, grinning as he shoved me against the wall. What happened to rules and complications? He kissed me so hard I lost the rest of the sentence. His hands were everywhere, gripping, pulling, holding me like he'd been starving, and I was the first meal he'd had in weeks. This wasn't careful, disciplined Max. This was the man underneath, and holy hell, he was unstoppable. Clothes hit the floor like they were allergic to us. He pushed me onto the couch, and for once, he didn't try to slow down, didn't try to stay in control. He just took, and I let him, because honestly, I'd never seen him like that before. No armor, no badge, no control. Just Max, messy and hungry and real. Halfway through, I managed to gasp out. So this is what happens when you stop being a cop. He growled, actually growled, into my neck, and I swear it was the hottest damn sound I've ever heard. By the time it was over, we were both wrecked. Breathing hard, sweaty, tangled up on his couch like two idiots who forgot the world existed. And here's the part one won't say out loud anywhere else, but here, it hit different. Yeah, the sex was insane, but it wasn't just that. It was the way he looked at me after, like he was trying to figure out how the hell I'd gotten under his skin. Like he didn't know whether to thank me or arrest me again. Me? I just smirked, kissed him slow, and whispered, told you I'd break you. But the truth? He was breaking me too. Chapter 8. Tension rises. So here's the thing about cops. They don't like losing control. And after that night on his couch, where Max went full caveman on me, he freaked out. I mean, full-on retreat mode. For 2 days, radio silence. No texts, no calls, nothing. I thought maybe he'd died under a pile of paperwork. Or worse, he'd convinced himself it was all a mistake again. Then the universe decided to stir the pot. I was out with some friends downtown. Normal night, beers, bad karaoke, the usual. And of course a fight breaks out near the bar. Not me this time, I swear on my milkshake addiction. But you know how luck works. Wrong place, wrong time, part 2. And guess who shows up with flashing lights and that same stone face? Officer Max Brown. He sees me standing there while his guys break up the brawl, and his jaw tightens like he's biting back every curse in the book. He marches over, pulls me aside, and hisses, "What the hell are you doing here?" I laughed in his face. Living my life? You want me to text you my schedule now, officer?" That glare could have dropped me on the spot. But behind it, I could see it, fear. Not anger. Fear. Like he was terrified I'd get caught up in something, or worse, that someone might figure out what we'd been doing behind his locked door. And it pissed me off. Because yeah, I get it, he's got a job, a reputation, a badge. But I'm not some problem to manage. I'm me. So I said it straight. You keep pulling me close then pushing me away. You want me, or you don't. But don't stand here acting like I'm the criminal again. That hit him. Hard. For a second, he just stared at me. No comeback, no control. Then, like always, he shut down. Go home, JD. This isn't the time. I should have walked away. But you know me. I don't do quiet exits. I leaned in close, close enough only he could hear, and whispered, "You can't protect yourself from me, Max. You already let me in." Then I left. And let me tell you, walking away from that 6'4" wall of conflicted muscle, hardest damn thing I've done. Because for the first time since this whole thing started, it didn't feel like a game. It felt real. And that scared me more than any flashing blue lights ever could. Chapter 9. No more holding back. Couple days after our little showdown, I was sulking. Yeah, I'll admit it. Me, J.D. Clark, life of the party, actually sitting in my apartment staring at the ceiling like some lovesick idiot. My friends kept texting me about going out, but I wasn't in the mood. And if I'm not in the mood to drink beer and make fun of strangers' bad haircuts, something is seriously wrong. Then came the knock. Not a polite knock, either. A heavy, cop knock that made the door rattle. I knew who it was before I even opened it. Max. He stood there, shoulders tight, eyes darker than I'd ever seen them. He didn't say hello. Didn't say sorry. Just walked right past me into my place like he owned it. I shut the door and leaned against it, arms crossed. Well, Officer Brown finally decided to show up. What's the matter? Coffee machine break at the station? He turned, stepped in close, and growled, "Enough." And just like that, he kissed me. Hard. Desperate. None of that careful, measured crap. This was Max completely unchained. His hands grabbed at me like he'd been starving, dragging me closer, and I didn't fight him. Hell, I melted into it like I'd been waiting for this exact moment. We stumbled back into my bedroom, knocking over a lamp on the way. Neither of us cared. Clothes came off fast, so fast I think I ripped a button off his shirt. He didn't notice. He was too busy kissing me like I was the only thing keeping him alive. This time, it wasn't about me teasing him or him trying to stay in charge. This was different. Hotter. Messier. Realer. Every touch was loaded. Every kiss was deeper, like he was finally admitting what he'd been fighting since day one. At one point, he pulled back, breathing hard, and said, "I can't stay away from you." And me, because I can't ever shut my mouth, I smirked and said, "Good. I wasn't planning on letting you." He groaned, half frustration, half surrender, and pushed me down onto the bed. What happened next? Let's just say it was intense. The kind of night that leaves you shaking after, not just from the sex, but from the weight of what it means. Because here's the truth. Somewhere in the middle of all the sweat and moaning and grabbing each other like we'd disappear if we let go, I realized I wasn't just in this for the fun anymore. I wanted him. All of him. The man, the cop, the mess underneath. And judging by the way he clung to me afterward, chest heaving, face buried in my neck like he was scared to let go, I knew he wanted me too, even if neither of us had the guts to say it yet. Chapter 10. The Deal. So after that night, the one where Max practically tore my bed apart, we hit this weird limbo. You know that stage where neither of you says the big words, but you both know damn well it's not just casual anymore? Yeah, that. Max started showing up more. Sometimes late after his shifts, still in uniform, looking like the poster boy for "Arrest me, officer." Other times in plain clothes, which for him meant dark jeans and a shirt that still somehow looked like regulation issue. He'd sit at my table, sip coffee, and complain about paperwork while I stole his fries and made fun of his serious face. Thing is, he never told me to stop. Not once. And that's how I knew I'd won. One night, we're lying in my bed, me sprawled out, him half asleep with his arm heavy across my chest. I poked him in the ribs and said, "You know you're basically my boyfriend now, right?" He cracked one eye open, gave me that classic cop glare, and muttered, "You're impossible." "Yeah, but you love it." He closed his eyes again, but I swear I saw it. The tiniest smirk before he hit it. That was Max's version of shouting it from the rooftops. And you know what? That was enough. Because for all his control and discipline and rules, the guy let me in. Me, the loudmouth 20-year-old who turned his apology into a first date. So here I am, telling you this whole story like it's some wild confession, but the truth? It's simple. I wasn't supposed to be in that police station. I wasn't supposed to cross paths with him at all. Wrong place, wrong time. Except maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was exactly where I was supposed to be. And Max? He can keep pretending he's still in charge, but between you and me, I've got him wrapped around my finger. Don't tell him I said that, though. He'll probably try to write me a ticket. My last word. So yeah, that's the story. Me and Officer Max Brown, The walking rulebook who thought he was too old and too serious for some punk like me. Now, he's got a toothbrush in my bathroom, a spare set of keys on my counter, and my hoodie in his closet because he pretends it's comfortable. Please. The guy just likes smelling like me when he's off duty. He still tries to act like he's in charge, but everyone knows better. Half the time, he's the one cooking me breakfast while I sit at the table making sarcastic comments. The other half, we're arguing about stupid stuff like what movie to watch or who left the socks on the floor. But underneath all that, it's solid. Real. The kind of thing I didn't even know I wanted until it smacked me in the face in a police station. And I gotta admit, feels pretty damn good being guilty of this one.